Hey everyone, welcome back. This is the guy who's gonna get it with his house. It tells you about a film. I'm in traffic. This is the Been a While Sid Wears Glasses Now edition. Let's get into it. First of all, what movie we're gonna do today? Well, I'm gonna tell you. I saw it recently. It was on HBO. I don't know. I think it was called Lucy, starring not Katherine Heigl. Who is she? Scarlett Johansson. She is Lucy. She is not a robot. Well, we'll get into it. I'm saying it's not that movie Ghost in a Shell, which I don't know if that's a robot. I didn't see that movie. Lucy stars Scarlett Johansson as the titular Lucy, and in the film, it starts off, basically it's like she is just living in, I think, Shanghai. I think. Hold on, I have to merge. Ugh. Anywho. This is going to be an portrait. You know what? Just deal with it. I don't care. You're here for the laughs, not the looks. Alright, so she's living in Shanghai. She's with her roommate. Her roommate is played by what's-her-face from That Thing. Doesn't matter. She's not dumb, okay? Like, Lucy's not a dumb character, but she's not like a brain surgeon. But who is? Except for brain surgeons. So anyways, she is just in Shanghai. She kind of gets mixed up with like the wrong crowd. All right, and essentially this guy's like, listen, just do this one thing for me. You love me, right? And she's like, of course I do. I'm gonna do this one thing for you. He's like, cool, go to this place, it's all cool, tell him I sent you, maybe I'm there, I don't remember. All right, so then Lucy's like, she shows up at the place, and it's not like, oh yeah, you're here for the the job interview. It's like, we're evil. So they're like, all right, we're gonna take your passports, we're cutting open your stomachs, and we're putting drugs in them, bags of drugs. Deal with it. And so they put the bag of drugs in her, just like they do. Cut to Morgan Freeman. He is like a brain surgeon scientist. He's that's a smart man, and he's giving this presentation about like, what if we could use 100% of our brains? Which, like, this whole thing is definitely pseudoscience for sure, but it doesn't matter. He's like, what if we could do? Right now we use about 10%. Well, imagine if we could use 20. And they're like, what would happen if we could use 20? And they're like, oh, well then, we'd be able to do all this really cool stuff. We'd have full control of our bodies. And then they're like, all right, well, how about 30? Well, 30. And then the list goes on until finally, like at some point, like he's making claims like, if we could use 40% of our brains, then we'd be able to control other people. And it's like, what? Like, how do you know that? And then after that, he's like, well, now we're getting into the realm of science fiction. Oh, okay. Doesn't matter. And someone's like, hey, wait, this is crazy. What about 100%? And he's like, oh, that's the big one, huh? There it is. 100%. Let me think. Who knows? That's his answers. Who knows? So, cut to Lucy. She wakes up in like a jail cell, and she's not loving the whole having just been cut open and drugs get put inside of you, which, like, who would like that? And kind of fights her captors a little bit. They kick her in the stomach. Guess what that does? Bust open the bag of drugs in you. Oh no, now you're doing the drugs. You're not just a mule, you're a consumer. The drugs get into her system, and they are like little blue sparks, and it's like, doo, 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 doo. And it turns out the blue drugs, it's like the Limitless drugs, but this isn't Limitless, this is Lucy. They're gonna be near each other on your DVD rack though, because they both start with L. Anywho, she is now on drugs and starts floating in the air. I don't know. She's floating around. She's like, she's like, freaking out because she's floating and on drugs. And then it's like, boom, 20%. Like, that's the number that pops up on the screen because now she's using 20% of her brain, and she's like, this is my impression of Lucy throughout the whole movie. Those of you who've seen it are gonna laugh, or not. I can't tell you what to do. So she's good at fighting now. She fights, she gets out of there, and she's been shot and stabbed and stuff and whatever. So she goes to the hospital. She's like, take me to the hospital. She just says that to a person, and the person does it because he's afraid of her, because she has knives and guns and, eyeballs that are just geeking out all over the place. So whoa! You guys gotta see this shit! I don't know if you can see that or not. That is an Osprey. I think it's Marine Week. That's a military helicopter chopper. That's crazy looking. I hope you can see that. Anyways, wow, that's cool. All right, well, there's my palm. We're just gonna keep doing this. Wow, that's so neat. Huh. Okay, so basically, yeah, she's just on drugs. She goes to the hospital and she's like looking at a dude's x-ray who's on the operating table, and she's like, I need this operating room. It's for me. I'm gonna live. He's not, because I know all about medicine now. Whatever. So, and she can read other and understand other languages too really well and stuff. So okay. So she then goes to, they fix her up, and now she's like, I'm gonna die because I'm on drugs. And so cut to a bunch of crap. She's just more and more and more. She's like, you know what? Here's the deal. I gotta learn about what's happening to me. And she realizes she's gonna die. So she's like, you know what? I gotta get to the dude who I've self-actualized because I'm using my brain entirely. And it's like, it doesn't matter. I'm not afraid of death. And I should just really take advantage of this and, help science out. That's the thing. It's not revenge or anything. She's not like, oh, I'm a super duper fighter now. Let me super duper fight. She's like, oh, let me, help Earth. So, she's controlling computers with her brain and all kinds of stuff. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the other people that had drugs put in them, they weren't kicked in the stomach. They're still muling the muling them packages. And she tells the cops, hey, track him down for me. And they're like, why? And she's like, you have a red pen next to you. I'm not even in the room with you. And they're like, okay. So they help her get the drugs. And then the guys whose drugs it is, they come after her too. And she can make people float in the air and stuff like that, which is really helpful when trying to get out of a sticky situation. And she can just kill them in an instant like that. And that's great. But then there's still people why can't she just do that? Bad guys, you're all dead, boom, done. But whatever. So this cop guy's like, whoa, girl, you're weird. And she's like, I know. And cut to a bunch of crap. She's just, kung fu-ing people, making them float and all this stuff. And her brain's just more and more, she's doing more drugs. Oh, she's starting to disintegrate too. She has to do more drugs or she'll disintegrate. And they get all the drugs, and now here we go. Here's the pinnacle of the film, Lucy. She gets to Morgan Freeman and is like, hey, it's me, Lucy. Let's go ahead and just get you all the knowledge here that I figured out. And they're like, okay, here's cool. Let's do this. And she's like, time is not space. Space is time. There's so many dimensions, with time being the constant. And it's, but then there's dudes coming after her with guns, and that's why I'm like, why don't you just kill them? It's you did it before. It's really easy, and now you have even more brain power to work with. But she's busy controlling time. Basically, she learns that like all measurements of everything are just totally bogus. The only measurement that matters anymore is time. Ugh, wow. It's what kind of like grounds us in reality. And so she's like, here we go, I'm gonna do it. She just does all the drugs. Like they just, just hook her up to all of it. She's like, blah, blah. And then she's in a white void, and then she's not in that white void anymore. And then she starts time traveling. And the way that she controls time is not by like just doing it. She's like, it's like she's using one of those HP desktop computers. She's like that. That's how she controls time. Great. So as she goes through time, what happens is she goes back all the way to, get this, Lucy. Right? The primate that is thought to be like one of the first intelligent or semi, she basically has like a connection with Lucy, and I think we are led to believe that it was necessary for her to do all these drugs and go back in time and meet Lucy so that Lucy could self-actualize and be like, oh, human, got it. So she so then she goes back in time. She's figured it all out. She sees the cosmos. She just knows everything. And she's like, I gotta get this data to you. And they're like, how are you gonna do that, Lucy? How are you gonna get us all that data? And she's like, watch this. And she just starts sucking all the stuff into her. Like, all matter just starts getting sucked towards her. And everyone's like, whoa, what's going on? This is crazy. And Morgan Freeman's like, oh, she's building a computer. She's hooking into our network. She needs more computer juice. And they're like, oh, got it, cool. Lucy turns into a freaking computer, dude. She turns into a computer. She turns into a computer. Lucy, the person, does a bunch of drugs, goes back in time, touches a monkey, and turns into a computer. And then she doesn't even kill the bad guy in the end. It's her her like cop friend who does it. And then the best part about it is that like she doesn't continue to remain a computer. Like the computer disintegrates after producing a single USB stick, which is then handed to Morgan Freeman. So I guess all knowledge, all like the infinite cosmos and all information, number one, belongs to Morgan Freeman, and number two, can be brought to you by the fine people at SanDisk. That's a fun reference. And then the cop guy's like, whoa, hey, wait, I'm making him sound like a Brooklyn cop. He's more of a French cop. He's from France, and they're in France. And he's like, where'd this shit go? I don't know. I smoke a cigarette now. And then his phone like buzzes, and it's just like a generic text message. Like it's just, it doesn't even, it's not like, oh, you have one new message from Lucy. It's just his phone just says, I'm everywhere now. So Lucy's everywhere. So, okay. To recap, here's what happens in the movie Lucy. She's living in China, just being a student or whatever, and she's just kicking it. Accidentally does drugs. Is like, wow, look at these drugs. This is crazy. Then does more drugs, figures everything out, turns herself into a computer, and gives that knowledge to Morgan Freeman, brain scientist, and is then just like, all right, deuces. Which I guess maybe that's how her happened. Like, because she's her now. She was the voice of her. And if she's everywhere like a computer, I guess she's her. Maybe she's her. All right. Well, stay tuned for my next one, Lucy 2:her. It's going to be a sick. That Osprey was really cool, right?